we'd like to present you a Polish dessert, that is, the cheesecake. We do it in two parts. The first layer is the sponge cake, and on this cake we bake the cheese mass after we baked the sponge. The ingredients for the sponge cake are 3 eggs, 3/4 glass of sugar, 2 spoons of water, half a glass of potato flour, half a glass of cake flour, and a baking powder. After baking the sponge cake, we make the cheese mass from cheesecake curd, 400 ml of beaten 30% sour cream, 1½ glasses of sugar. To the curd we add in 5 eggs and whites from these eggs beaten to a stiff foam. We also beat the sour cream to a stiff foam before adding it in the cheese mass. To the mass we also add 2 creamy puddings, 1 spoon of clear, coarse flour, orange oil, and lemon oil. At the end we add in raisins and candied orange peel. And that's all. For the baked sponge cake underside, we prepare a cheese mass for the cheesecake. To achieve that, we take 1 kilogram of cheesecake curd. We mix it up with 10 egg yolks. We also add in 2 creamy puddings, orange and lemon oils, and a spoon of clear, coarse flour. We mix that mass with the stiff foam of 10 egg whites and beaten sour cream. To that we delicately add raisins and candied orange peel. Then we pour that mass on the sponge cake and we bake it in the oven in 160 degrees Celsius for about 1½ hour. After turning up the oven, we keep the cake in for about 15 minutes in the oven to cool off. I've separated 3 yolks from whites. The whites I will beat into stiff foam. Now I will add 3/4 glass of sugar with a spoon of vanilla sugar, and I keep on beating. Now I put in the yolks, I add water, 2 spoons of it, time for the baking powder, 1 teaspoon. Now I stop mixing and I put in the remaining dry ingredients. Potato flour,
Teraz dodaję mąkę tortową.
And cake flour.
Zaraz
Will
będzie
be ready
gotowe
in just a
ciasto.
moment, after
Wyłożę
which
je
I will put it on
blachę.
fire.
Takie samo
The same
ciasto
cake
zrobione
made in
w
twice the
podwójnej
amount
ilości i
and
upieczone w
baked in a
tortownicy
cake tin
może być spodem
can be a sponge cake on
biszkoftowym
the side
do
for
tortu.
any other cake.
Ciasto
Sponge
gotowe.
cake's ready.
Wykładam
Now I put it
na
on the
wcześniej
form I prepared earlier
przygotowaną blachę i
and I
wstawiam do
show it
pieca.
in the oven.
Ciasto rozprowadzam
I
równo
distribute
na
the
blasze.
cake equally on the form
I
and
wstawiam
put
do
it in the
nagrzanego
warmed up
wcześniej
oven
pieca na 180
with over
stopni
180
na około
degrees for about
30
30
minut.
minutes.
Ciasto będzie w piecu około pół
The cake will be
godziny.
in the oven for about
Sprawdzimy,
half
czy
an
jest
hour.
gotowe przy
We'll
pomocy
check if it's ready by
patyczka.
puncturing it with a small
Jak patyczek
stick.
będzie suchy,
If the stick is
Kupić ciasta,
dry, that
to
means
znaczy, że
it's
jest
ready.
gotowe.
Ubita została piana z śmietany.
The cream form
Także teraz
has been beaten.
nadszedł czas
Time to beat the
na
whites.
ubicie biała. Ciasto zostało
The
upieczone.
cake is done and
Wystygło
it has
już
cooled
na
off,
blasze
both in
i w
the
piecu
oven
i na
and
zewnątrz.
outside.
A teraz
And
przygotowana
now we
jest
prepare
masa
the
serowa.
cheese mass.
Dodaję
I add in
bitą
stiff sour
na
cream
sztywno
form
śmietanę. Mieszam
and mix it
delikatnie
gently with a
kołyską.
ladle.
Dodaję
I
10
put in
piany z
form
10
from 10 egg
białek.
whites.
Dodajemy do masy
We add in the
korek,
delicacies,
sparzone rodzynki,
blanched raisins and
skórka
candied
pomarańczowa,
orange peel,
procesowana,
which I've shredded.
Po zmieszaniu daję do
After
masy.
mixing it all up into one mass, I pour it on the cake and in the oven for 90 minutes.
Wylewam
I pour the cheese mass on the cake like so.
tak przygotowaną
And I put in the form
Wkładam do gorącego
into the
pieca.
hot oven.
ciasto się upiekło,
Cake
jest już
is
gotowe i
done.
wyjmujemy je z
Ready.
pieca. Musimy je
We
ostudzić,
take
żeby
it
można
out of the
spróbować.
oven. It has to cool off before it's eaten.
ciasto nie upadło,
We don't want the cake to fall, so I cut it off near the edges.
Jeszcze raz sprawdzę.
I'll check once more and show you that it is done.
Upieczone.
The
Patyczek jest
stick
suchy.
is dry.
Suchy.
It is dry.
Sernik ostygł. Nie jest już
The cheesecake has
gorący,
cooled
prosto z
off.
pieca.
It's not hot anymore. Straight from the oven. Time for consumption. Let's see if the cake is any good, how it tastes. Good. Real good. The cheese is plump. Well, I'm not an expert on it, but the cheese is there. You can taste the delicacies. Yes, indeed, you can see them and you can taste them. The cheesecake is indeed good. Thank you for your attention, and cheers from Poland.